Hey guys, Anthony, 4x4 Diesel. By now, most of you would know that we own more than one Prado. This is the most recent one, 2019 GX. So a few people have picked that up. I've shared a bit of information about the setup and what we've done, but there is people asking, looking forward to seeing what we've done as far as the setup goes. Obviously, we do get to see a lot of Prado four-wheel drive set up for adventure and, the right and wrong things to do, including some of our own experiences, I suppose, with, what you may and may not want to do. So we'll just quickly run through a few of the things we've done. And there's obviously things happening that are on order that we're waiting for. So at the moment, one of the first modifications we did was obviously adding a bit extra power by putting that extra dual battery in. So that's all that's happened under the bonnet here so far, more or less. So let's go around the back. We'll get to the roof rack and whatever, and the other details. So we'll go around here and have a look and see in the back here what we've done. Not much at this stage. Okay, so we've got the Kaon rear table, the Kaon cargo barrier, put that fire extinguisher up there temporarily at this stage, and the soft cargo shelf up there, storage shelf. We're getting a storage system made that's going to be similar to the one in the 120, but with some drawers, so it should be more usable space. And of course we've got the power outlet set up at the back here. So that's around about all that's happened as far as in the back goes. We're obviously having a rear storage system built, which will be awesome. Now, I suppose one of the other most important things is roof storage. So we chose the Rola Titan roof rack. Basically, I'll tell you straight, tin from Kaon. He said that they've experienced both the Rola Titan racks and the Rhino racks on their vehicles, and he believed that these are a lot stronger, so that's what it is. I've compared since he said that, and these are rock solid. You can see the corners. It's just, they're heaps stronger anyway. So we've put the Rola Titan roof rack on with what they call the low mount fitting kit. Alright, that's what it looks like. I've done other videos and put it up with the part numbers and stuff. We already had the Rhino Batwing awning. Took that off the 120 and put it on here, soon as this is going to be more of a touring vehicle, so less of the harder tracks and that sort of thing, more of a touring, more outback trips, that sort of thing. So we decided to put the Batwing on this vehicle and just a standard awning back on the other vehicle. I suppose the downside is you're carrying 27 kilos along the side and you're rarely going to use it, so that'll probably come on and off for trips. Obviously pretty easy to do, just a couple of nuts and bolts, and it lifts straight off, so we'll probably get that off. At the moment we're still using the 5-watt handheld. It was a temporary solution, and that magnetic mount antenna you can see down there between the roof racks, that's still there at the moment. My number, I suppose 1, 2 or 3, 4, the top 5 in recovery tools definitely is the shovel, is one of the first things I'd take. Obviously it serves two purposes. It's a mobile toilet, and it's also going to get you out of trouble. You can build a track. If you've got a chainsaw and a shovel, you can build a track. And your other thing is obviously your tire deflator and or tire gauge of sorts, and a compressor, which we haven't got mounted in yet. We're just waiting on Kaon. They're designing and building a new compressor bracket to go under the bonnet, which will be handy. We'll grab one of those once they're ready. So that's what's going on up on the roof. I suppose then we can look in the vehicle. I suppose let's talk about the wheels and tyres and suspension. So we've put the Dobinson suspension in. At the front we've just got the monotubes, and the reason at the moment we went for those is they haven't finalised all the testing with the monotube remote reservoirs that are adjustable for the front. We want a proper mounting kit before we use them. One thing about the front, the weight of the vehicle is fairly consistent, so if you've got the valving right, there's no need to change it. But what happens in the rear of the vehicle, basically, your loads change. Like at the moment, right, as you saw at the moment, we're empty, right? So of course, that's a lot different to having a storage system, a fridge, food, water, people, the roof loaded. It's a completely different ride. So if your valving's the same all the time, that's where you can get some variation. So on the rear, we got the adjustables, and you can see the adjustments there, easy to get to. It's that purple, and then on the other end, also on the bottom of the shock as well. But that's another video to explain that operation. So we've got ourselves another set of GXL wheels. Sprayed those black. That's in another video. That came up really well. So part of the feedback people were after, I think I mentioned it in another video, but this is kind of like to cover everything we've done so far. And I'll do another one with some updates of changes and stuff in the final setup once it's done. We're, I suppose, 70% of the way there. That paint worked really well. I didn't put the gloss coat over the top, which is also available. I have not washed these with a sponge. Just, you know, sprayed them off. That's why you can still see the dust and where the water's run across them, sort of thing. The BFG KO2s from Jack's at Essendon. So that covers the suspension. The springs we put in, it's a GX, so it's a lot lighter, saves you money on your purchase, and you're not carrying around gear or paid for gear that you don't need. So we put the medium spring in, the C59327, which is holding it up quite well at around 50 to 60 mil. Obviously closer to 60 when you haven't got a load in. It's designed for load. So that's a really good height. At the front we could probably go a little bit higher, but I'm waiting to get the weight in the rear, because what happens in the front and the, you know, will what happens in the rear will change the front a little bit too. So in here, look, we've put the iDrive unit in. Look, the 2755cc engine, the small engine, it just feels a little bit gutless and laggy. Just because I own one doesn't mean I endorse it. Love the vehicle, brand new vehicle, awesome. The things I don't like, and I'm not saying I don't like the transmission, but I don't like the shifts and the gearing and the way the torque converter is unlocked in fifth and sixth just about all the time, unless you're on flat ground going downhill with a tailwind. As soon as you got the slightest uphill, the torque converter unlocks, and it's even hard to get torque converter lock in fifth is what I find. So not impressed with that. Still using, as I said, that handheld. It just sits there, works really well. You can just press the button, you don't have to lift it up, and that just, it's a temporary thing, but that just runs through out here up to that magnetic mount. And of course those USBs, as we've mentioned before, we put twin USB there with a voltmeter, and there's another USB over this side, and of course the standard one that's in the vehicle that only charges when the power's on. So these ones are on all the time, so not much is going to happen in here. We'll probably, look, the other thing we did, I should probably show you that. We've got the Kaon rear antenna mount bracket. So that's what this is. Apparently it's a rear antenna and light bar bracket as well. So that got mounted, obviously, I sort of, you know, efficiency wise, I did the suspension, wheels and tyres and everything together while they're off. I mounted this bracket on there. I'm just looking for a small suitable antenna to use on here, and then we'll probably route it through all the way through the vehicle. And the first step will be plugging it into this handheld and see how that goes, because that is going to work just as well as a permanently mounted unit anyhow. So, and then eventually we'll probably get a, you know, an Oricom, what's the number, something, or UHF 390 or something like that, maybe mounted in the console there, and you just bring the mic out when you're using it. It's got all the controls on the mic, if I said the right number, something along those lines anyway. So that's pretty much about all we've done at the moment. Obviously got the windows tinted because you can't be driving around naked. Wheels, tyres, suspension, battery system, of course the Kaon DC charger bracket there, and the charger's mounted nice and neat. And we've just got our wire here, our Anderson plug to connect the solar, right? So we can connect it there or through the grill. I reckon that pretty well covers everything that we've done on this vehicle. Like I said, I wouldn't do it again, the Rhino rack thing, I wouldn't do that again. So in my opinion, stick with your standard kind of awnings. You know, $100, $200, whatever. You get your maximum, you get your full area of coverage coming out using those, where this, like I said, it doesn't. There's another video where I did a review. Just search our channel for a review Rhino rack batwing or something along those, something along those lines. Everything else is working well. Really happy with the vehicle. Just a bit disappointing with the the size of the engine and the lack of. I mean, they get a little bit more power from having that bigger intercooler and things like that. It's a different engine, but the way the transmission shifts, mainly the heat that's going to be going through it because of the torque converter not locking. So you've got to hold it back and forth. You get locked quite easily, same as in the earlier vehicles with the 5-speed. The difference is they just rev a little bit more because of the gearing. So at 110, I think you're about 3 grand or even more, over 3,000 revs, which is a bit much. It'd be good to get converter lock and fifth a bit easy. The last thing that I'd like to say, actually, as far as fuel economy goes, let's go as far as fuel, because things have changed, okay? This is what's happened, okay? So let's just take a step back and have a look at it where we started. Now, you remember what it looked like when it was a stock vehicle. What have we done? We've put off-road tyres. That makes a bit of difference. We've given it a bit of a lift. That makes a bit of difference. We've added a little bit of weight doing some of these things. The tyres are heavy, the roof rack's there. It's not a lot of weight. Wind resistance, also the roof rack, the shovel, the awning. It's a bit of wind resistance and a bit of weight. Not a lot though. And I've got to tell you, the fuel economy, where before it was fairly easy to get mid-7s, usually around 8s, 8.5 most trips. You'd have to do some pretty bad driving to hit 10 or to get above 10, unless, of course, you had a terrible headwind headed up to Port Augusta or something like that, which is the usual thing, and you get about 14s or something. But other than that, it was getting really good economy. Now, with these changes, these tyres, I can still get under 10s. I can get 8.5s and 9s and stuff like that. But I can easily get over 10s, okay? So if there's some hilly terrain, slightly uphill or a headwind, that sort of thing, I'm easily pushing into the 11s, that sort of area. So we'll do another fuel economy video on another trip, but I just want to point out, I think that the tyres create a lot more rolling resistance compared to the standard tyres. And of course, having that big awning up there isn't going to help either. So of course, we're not going to go back the other way. That's what it's all about with the vehicle. We're not too fussed about the running costs. It's still very low. It's just awareness so that you're aware of what you do get when you start modifying the vehicle, adding weight and stuff like that, which we haven't added a lot of weight really. But so it must be all in the tyres. I'd say it's all in the tyres, having that awning up there, and probably a bit of resistance from the roof rack and stuff like that as well. So like always, if you're chasing fuel economy, don't carry around weight you don't need. Take off the weight and the wind resistance that you don't need to be carrying. And obviously we could do that. But you know what? It just looks good like that, Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope that's provided some feedback for you on the vehicle setup. I'm not planning to put a bull bar on, not planning to put a snorkel on. Under the bonnet will be the ARB compressor, just the general, what is it called? The standard one, not the double pumper. Again, weight, and we want to fit it in. We want it under the bonnet, not taking up space in the vehicle, and that storage system with the drawer fridges. So once that's in, and the compressor, we'll probably just check out what the weight is loaded and maybe tweak that front suspension a little bit and get it a little bit higher, maybe another 10 mil. And I don't think there's a lot more to do. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, hit up subscribe, and we'll have some more important information coming for you soon. And we've done some other videos, fuel economy related, sort of review of putting that roof rack together. We've got to putting the Rola Titan flat tray together, installing it on the vehicle, a couple of different videos, and the review on the awning. That's what we want to do, provide a lot of feedback for you on different products and that as well, especially our Oz Prado Crew sponsors on our Facebook group. Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend. See ya.